Hi friends, it's Deanna here today, and today I am here for a hack I've been wanting to try ever since this pattern came out. I am using the A-line button-up skirt pattern from Ellie & Mac, and I am actually going to try to hack it to work with a knit fabric so I don't have to do buttons. So I'm going to try to make a straight front and back, and it's just going to be a very simple, quick sew that hopefully will turn out super adorable. So let me tell you what I'm using and let's get started. I found this gorgeous fabric from Olga's Closet. This is a faux leather. It's got this quilting texture to it. I hope you can see it. It's got great backing on it, so it's not just like that leather backing. And it's got stretch. Now, it's not a whole lot of stretch, but it's really good stretch. Look at that. And it has good recovery. So I thought that this would be a perfect fabric for this hack. Now, this hack, I'm trying to see how it's going to work, and I think it's going to work with heavier fabrics like this fabric, or like ponte, or Liverpool, or something that has a little bit more, it's a little bit more sturdy than some of the really lightweight stretch fabrics. If I'm going to do something with what I'm doing to this hack is I'm going to basically make it pretty much the same size that I am. I range between a medium and a large on bottoms. And when I made my woven version, I went with a large waist and a medium hips because I'm very narrow when it comes to hips, but it fit me like very like right on. So it was like fitted like it's supposed to fit. So I could stand to probably make it a size large, and it just be a little bit bigger, but I'm going to go with a size medium. So because of the fact that it's a knit fabric, knits usually, obviously it's stretch, so I want it to still be fitted. So I'm gonna go with a medium, and let's hope it works. If not, then I'll have to size up next time. But also, if you're using a very lightweight fabric, those are going to stretch out a little more. So I would do a trial run first and see how it fits. And you might have to take it in a little bit if it's not quite the fit you like. This fabric's also great for giving that little bit of a flare look that the A-line skirt has. So that's why I'm going with this fabric, because it's just really, really great. But like I said, you can use other fabrics that are similar in weight, like Pointel, Liverpool, Bullet Liverpool. I'm trying to think what other, but I can't think of any other ones at the top of my head. But something that has a stretch, but it's less, not as flowy. And though you could probably still do it with a flowy, it's just you have to mess around with how much to take it in at the waist, because a knit fabric pattern does have a negative ease, which means it like comes in instead of flaring out. So if I was going to do that, I would probably keep the skirt pattern the same, like I'm gonna show you, but then the waistband, I would probably go with a sizing of like a yoga waistband you made before. So I would alter that so that it brings my skirt in a little bit at the waist. So that would be something to do if you're using a very light fabric. So let me show you how I'm gonna cut it. I'm so excited. I'm a little scared, but I'm mostly excited. All right, so I am going to be making the knee length. I'm gonna have to add some length to it because I am taller than the pattern is drafted for. And there is a line right here in the pattern that you can cut across and add length to it if you need to. So I'm going to be doing that. So if you see me slashing it and opening and you're like, what are you doing? That's what I'm doing. I'm just adding height for my height. And then what I'm going to do is the back I'm going to cut just exactly like it is. And the front, we have in this pattern, we have this whole section right here that is for the placket where the buttons are going to go. So this whole section basically gets sewn, turned around, and that's going to be the overlap and everything that you do on your pattern. Well, I'm going to take that whole section off because I don't need it, because I'm not going to do the placket. I'm going to do a straight front. So I folded that whole section in, and you can actually probably fold in another 1/2 inch for the seam allowance, but I'm going to leave it and see how it works. I'm just going to try to make it easy for myself And if it works, then I'm gonna be super excited. And if it doesn't, then I'm gonna let you all know. So next time you can take in that 1/2 inch. And then I am still going to do the darts because I still want it to come in at the waist. So I'm gonna be doing darts with that. And Bo is saying hello if you can hear him. Then on the back yoke, I'm keeping it exactly the same because I'm gonna leave it, the back I'm gonna leave the same. And then on the front waistband, the back waistband I'm gonna leave the same, and then the front waistband, because it's cut in the foot, is cut 2 pieces, and I'm only making 1 piece. I'm gonna cut 1 waistband, and I can actually subtract the seam allowance because of the fact that I'm doing 1 piece in the front. The waistband gives you that seam allowance to sew it together, so you can subtract that seam allowance. I'm not gonna actually subtract it because I'm cutting this small waistband, and I am leaving a little bit of give here at the waistband on the skirt just for my preference. So we're gonna see how that goes, and then I'll give you full details when I'm done, how it looks, and you can see exactly how it looks. So let's go ahead and cut those. First thing we're going to do is work on the darts. So I did cut the section for my darts. So I'll be placing this and marking out where those darts are gonna be. I do have the little mark right there at the notch, and I don't know if I can see that marker on my fabric. So I'm going to just fold it right there where it's supposed to be, and then put my pattern piece on top of it, or you can use a tailor's chalk or something like that. That would also be a way to get that. But I'm just gonna do the fold right at that center piece and then place my pattern piece right over it so I see where it's supposed to be. Now, if you want to see a better version of how this skirt is actually meant to be sewn, you can check that out on our channel here. I do have a full sewing tutorial on this skirt, the way it's supposed to be. This is the hacked version. So if you want the full version, go check that out, please. So once I've pinned these in, I'm going to go to the sewing machine and do a straight stitch to get these darts in. There's both of my darts, so I'm going to go work on that. I'm also going to grab my back skirt, and I'm going to lace it right up, and I'm going to grab my yoke, and I'm going to place where that point, the middle of my yoke, right there on the middle of my skirt. And then I'm going to go to my sewing machine. At the same time I'm sewing those darts, I'm going to go 1 inch from the side and sew down, stop at the middle piece, turn my yoke and sew up. That way it is ready for me to, after I do that, then I'm going to match up those, I'm going to clip right there, and then I'm going to match up those sides, the raw edges, and sew right sides together. But I want to do that part first so that it's nice and even right here first before I sew it all together. All right, I start at the top, and I'm going to sew straight all the way down coming out of this edge, and leaving a tail at the end so I can tie it so it won't come apart. There's my first dart. Then I can go ahead and grab these 2 threads at the end and just do a little knot, maybe 2 knots, but don't tighten them, just 2 light knots right there. If you tighten them too tight, they're going to create a pucker, and you don't want that. It's just a little tight right there so it doesn't come apart. And then I'm going to go over and steam that flat both ways so it lays nice and flat for the front. Now right here, we're going to start about 1 inch away. And when you get to that point, obviously take your needle out. And then don't take that needle off. Just leave the needle down, just lift your foot up, and then turn it, and then put it back down, and finish that other inch. Then now I'm going to put these two together and I'm going to sew with that stretch stitch, or I'm going to actually do my serger, but if you want to do a stretch stitch, you're going to sew those two together, right sides together all the way and all the way. But remember, right here where I just made that V, I'm going to use scissors and I'm going to trim up so that it keeps that shape right there. There we go. So don't trim where you sew, just trim right up to it. All right, we're doing well. Okay, here's my front. Now we're going to attach the waistband. I'm gonna fold it in half and find my half of my skirt, and I'm gonna find the half of my waistband as well. Now remember, this waistband is now done in one, so we don't have two pieces. So we're just going to go ahead and attach it to the top of our skirt, right sides together. And what we're going to do is, you can, if you want to, steam fold, give a memory crease right here of a 1/4 inch for your seam allowance. We could do a 1/4 inch. The woven skirt is 3 5/8 a seam allowance, so you can either do that, but because this is knit, you could do a 1/4 inch. I'm just gonna do a 1/4 inch. You can fold it in and do that, or you can just go ahead and know where it's at, because then we're going to, once we do that, we're gonna fold it, and then we're gonna fold this down like in a 1/4 inch as well, and then fold it over to top stitch it together. But if you want to go ahead and give it a memory crease, you can. I'm not doing that with this because, I mean, I guess I could. I just would have to get a piece of cloth to put on top of it, because this fabric, you probably shouldn't be ironing it on top, and I don't want to burn it. So you could fold it down first on both sides, a 1/4 inch, and then fold it in half, and then that would give you really nice creases for sewing later when you're sewing it together. So, but I'm not doing that. I'm doing it the hard way because I don't want to ruin my fabric. But I'm doing the same thing to the back piece as well. Now, when we're doing it like this, you could definitely add pockets, like side pockets, if you want to add side pockets to it. We do have a video on how to do side pockets to a garment that has a seam on the sides. So you could totally do that, or you can even do the front pockets. I just wanted something simple and quick, so that's why I'm not doing that. I'm just going for it and finishing it up quickly. Just because sometimes you want that quick sew that's just like super cute. And that's what I'm going for on this today's hack sew. I'm super excited about it. All right, so now remember, you may want to go give it a good steam from the back, and some might want to top stitch that. Again, I don't want to see the top stitching as much on this. Actually, I don't know, maybe the top stitching would look fine because of the fact that it's got that quilting top stitching on it anyway. So it really is up to you if you want to, whatever you want to do. So I'm just steaming it. All right, now you would have that crease here that you're going to fold in like this to create that waistband, and then we'll top stitch it. But first we're going to sew those two sides, right sides together. Right here's where you would add the pocket if you were doing the side pockets I mentioned earlier. All right, now here's where it gets a little interesting because of the fact that I didn't steam. It would be a lot easier if I had, but like I said, I'm kind of worried about steaming this fabric. So I'm gonna fold down that first 1/4 inch, and then I'm gonna fold it in half over where that seam allowance is right there, because we wanna cover that seam allowance. It would help if I'd have my pins right in front of me. So we're gonna cover that seam allowance, and then we're going to come back and top stitch it from the front. I'm gonna go all the way around the whole waist. Actually, it's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be because of this being a knit fabric. I just love knits. Don't pin yourself like I just did. Make sure it's straight and even so you don't have an uneven waistband. All right, so the way to sew this waistband on is you're gonna come from the front and top stitch it down. But what you can do first, if you want to, is you can come this way and top stitch and do a straight long stitch basting stitch from the back, so you know exactly where you want to top stitch that, so you will catch that. You don't want to miss it and not catch it and then have like a gap. So you can do that. Now, before you sew that together, if you wanted to go ahead and try it on first and see if you want to put elastic at the back of the waist, you can go ahead and do that now, so that we don't sew this together and then you realize it's still a little bit too big on my waist or whatever, and I wish I would have put elastic on. Then you have to unpick it, you have to unpick it, you have to pick it, whatever it is, and add the elastic. So it would be easier to add it now. So I'm gonna go try it on, and if everything looks good, I'm going to top stitch. If not, then we'll come back and we'll add elastic. If you want to add elastic and you want to see how to do that, it is on that video, on the full tutorial on how to sew this skirt. I do add elastic to this skirt on that. So let me do that. All right, friends, I've tried on my skirt and I've come to 2 conclusions so far. Now, don't judge the length because I'm still going to hem it, and I'm probably going to do a higher hem. I did add extra length because of my height, but I don't think I needed to add as much as I did, and that's okay. But I did figure out that because it's been a knit, it does fit a little bit bigger than I would like it to fit. I want it to fit snugger. Now, it's not going to fall off, like it fits. If I pull it on, pull it down, it's not going to fall off. It's supposed to fit like kind of higher up on the waist. But I would like it a little bit more fitted. So I'm going to show you just what I'm going to do to change that before I finish up the waistband. All right, here we go. Now what I did is I unpicked I hadn't sewn it yet. So I took the pins off of the waistband, and so I pulled it straight up, and then I pinched at the sides to see how much I want to take out. It's inside out right now, so I'm pinching at the sides to see. I want to take off the same from each side. So I'm thinking it's about a half an inch on each side is what I want to take off, which to me is like a size down. So next time I sew this pattern, if I'm going to sew it knit, I probably just go ahead and size 1 down to do that. I mean, if you want to do with the bigger and then take it in, it's so easy to take this in that it won't matter. I'd rather take it in than it'd be too loose. And that's why I started with the same size. And also I wanted to show you all. Another thing is sometimes our hips are a little bit different. So this is a good method to check if you want to take in a little bit more at the hips to make it more narrow, or if you want to leave it flared out. Let's say you want to take off at the waist but not at the hip, and you can take in and flare it out. Oh my gosh, I just pinned myself. I'm okay. And so I'm going to go ahead and just sew right at that. So now what you can do if you want to just see if it's gonna work is you can go on your sewing machine and do a basting stitch where you think it's gonna go, and then try the skirt on and say, I like this, I don't like this. If you like it, then just trim and sew again if it fits. If not, then you can take more in, or you can take more out, whatever you want to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Then I'm gonna fold my waistband down again, top stitch like we talked about, hem, and our skirt will be done. I'm super excited because it already fits great. This is just gonna make it a little bit better fitting on my body. So I'm excited. Are you excited? Let me know below. All right, friends, we are done, and I am in love. I think this turned out super cute. I love it. I love the fit of it. I think it looks amazing in this fabric. I think it would also look amazing in other fabrics. Bo wants to say hello again. He likes to come and chat with y'all very often. He hears me talking and he thinks I'm talking to him. So anyway, okay, hold on. Let me show them the skirt. Okay, so he's like, no, I want attention now. Okay, so I'll be right back. All right, I am back. Bo has walked over to the other room, so maybe I can show it to you without him coming back in here. Okay, so I love how it turned out. I think it will look super cute in other stretch fabrics as well. Just remember, I used a heavier fabric, so if you're going to be using a very light fabric, you might have to take off more to make it more fitted, but it works out great because it still has the same shape and the waistband, and it looks super cute. I love the yoke in the back as well. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please comment, like, share, subscribe. And I hope this has inspired you to try out new hacks and new techniques and do new things. And don't be scared to go out there and fail, because if you do, then you're just learning new things. There are many, many projects that I've started and I ended up failing at that didn't work out. But they taught me how to fix things or how to change things or what I have to do better next time. And that is the great thing about sewing. And I think you can do it. So if you need any help, come find us on Facebook. We have a great community with awesome sewists who are there to help out and inspire each other. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Subscribe so you don't miss any of our sewing tutorials because you want to see everything that's going on. And I'll see you all next time. Bye!